All right, folks, let's talk about Daoist practices, methods of attaining oneness with Tao. Now remember, according to Daoist tradition, the purpose of life is to achieve peace, strength, longevity, and immortality. And to attain these virtues, one must practice Wu Wei, or actionless action. And to practice Wu Wei is to mimic the force of Tao. And when one masters Wu Wei, a practitioner may become what is called one with Tao and acquire De, or the power. And according to Tao Te Ching and the teachings of the Taoist sage Zhuangzi, one may acquire De by living a simple life close to the natural world, which, as you might remember, is a reflection of the force of Tao. And the logic is the following. If an individual becomes one with nature, he or she attains oneness with Tao. And because Tao is immortal, if one attains this oneness, the Taoist practitioner will be immortal as well. Now, in addition to teachings on simple living, the Taoist tradition also developed other practices to aid in the attainment of De. And they would be Taixi, Tai Chi, Shuyi, practices in alchemy, and immortal worship. So let's take a look at some more details regarding these Taoist practices. So the practice of Taixi is the practice of what is called embryonic breathing, and it is a means of practicing Wu Wei to regulate breathing in such a way that mimics the fetus in the womb. That is, one could argue that the fetus, when it is in the womb, that it is in complete kind of rhythm and harmony with the body of the mother. And there's this idea that the Tao is our mother. So if one can kind of regulate their breathing in such a way that it is in harmony with Tao, there's kind of this idea that one becomes more naturally like instinctive, and one just kind of lives in greater harmony with the force of Tao. And if you slow down your heart rate, that somehow that results in one achieving greater longevity in this life. Another meditative practice is Shuyi, which is to meditate upon the force of Tao, and is basically based upon this idea that if one meditates upon the force of Tao, one's mind is in harmony with Tao. A rather famous practice here in the West is Tai Chi, which is a form of what is called active meditation, which teaches one's body and mind to flow with the force of Tao. Other popular ancient practices and medieval practices in the Taoist tradition is the practice of alchemy. That is, there was this idea that gold was considered to be an immortal element. So if one could turn ordinary metals into gold and then swallow them, that somehow that this would make the body immortal. So in addition to what we might call esoteric kind of meditative practices, Taoism also has a devotional aspect in that Taoists will often worship immortals. And the immortals basically refer to people who have mastered Wu Wei and have therefore achieved immortality. And there's kind of this idea that if you worship the immortals and you become, in a sense, one with them, that somehow their powers will kind of rub off on you. And as we shall see in a video this week, in Taoism, Taoists did build temples which are devoted to not only these esoteric practices, but also to what we might call devotional Taoism.